Hey everybody, welcome back. It's your girl Alicia. We're coming back with another one. So exciting news. I did take a trade today and I'm kind of going to go over my explanation, what I was doing. We did manage to go into profit, but I was trying to hold on for 10 points and I'll kind of explain that in the video today. But we did just close out with a small loss because I did move my TP, and I'll kind of show you guys where I moved my stop loss and essentially what was going through my head, my thoughts. But we did take a trade today, so that is exciting news. We did get into the markets, and you know what, it was a win in my books because we did manage to trade down to 8.5 points or something. I was aiming for sell side liquidity today, even though overall I did want to see like a potentially that weekly high level we were talking about. But I'll kind of go over all of this in the video. We did take a trade today, we did sell today, and essentially what was going through my head, why we decided to sell, why we're kind of just trading sessions, and yeah, it's a good one. I'm excited to be here. I hope you're all enjoying these videos. And yeah, with that, I want to just have a cheers. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to talk about more, if there's anything that you just want to see more of. And yeah, I mean, I love making these videos. I really hope you enjoy them. So let's just jump right into the charts. All right. So we're gonna start on the daily time frame. Perfect. So today we do have some big news drivers at 10 p.m. but at 11 p.m. and 2 p.m. today, Powell is speaking. So, you know, when he speaks, the market likes to move. So I kind of had that thought going into my head. And because he was speaking at 11, I wasn't expecting much of a movement at 10. And I really didn't want to be in the trade past 11 just because things could go off the wall. You know, when he speaks, the markets like to move. So I kind of just stayed away, and I didn't want to trade, you know, I didn't want to hold my trade past 11 anyways. And I kind of figured that we would be trading, we would have a trending day today just because he speaks 2 times today. So we're probably going to see some movement. It is Friday. It is December 1st. We made it to December 2023. 2024 is right around the corner. So yeah, just all exciting stuff. Now, this week, again, we've had a pretty consolidating week. Like even yesterday, we had that run higher, move lower. We closed that little, or on Wednesday, we had that little potty close. Yesterday, we took out the weekly low, so we made a new low on Thursday. But again, it's just kind of been consolidating, not too many movements, nothing too crazy. And then of course now it's Friday. Look at this candle so far. I mean, since Powell's speaking twice, we could even see it go into this daily volume imbalance. But I mean, having that kind of movement at the end of the week on Friday, it's nice, sure, but it would have been nice to see some movement throughout the week. So I wasn't, you know, it was nothing too crazy. I wasn't expecting any too big of runs before the 11 o'clock news, so we'll kind of go over that. Again, I wanted to see these weekly relative equal highs traded to. We did, in fact, trade into them after 11 when Powell's speaking. But I did want to maybe see some sell side liquidity taken before we did have that run higher. But I'll kind of go over in more detail on the lower time frames. Essentially, I was kind of neutral this morning, if I'm being honest. I was like, we haven't had much movement at all this week. We could be going lower, we could be going higher. Ultimately, I did want to see those weekly relative equal highs, but the fact that we kind of had this consolidating week, I was like, I just want to see it break out of this consolidation. I want to see it break out, and hopefully next week we can see some more movements. So next week too is NFP, just because it is the beginning of the month. So we will definitely see movement next week. However, we're gonna stay away from NFP next week. So let's drop down to the 1 hour. All right, on the 1 hour time frame, this is what I was kind of looking at. I was like, all right, we've had this down move. We came back up, had this down move, taking out these lows here, came back up. At 3 a.m. we came into this 1 hour fair value gap. I was like, okay, I had this 1 hour fair value gap marked out. we had these London session highs, which I was like, okay, we could potentially see those reached. However, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to see if we would trade lower into some of these lows before making a move higher after Powell speaks, because I mean, you know, when he speaks, the market goes crazy. So I was looking at this 1 hour fair value gap. I was like, okay, are we going to respect it? What's happening? We did trade down lower after making those highs at 4 a.m. for London session highs. We did trade down lower, taking out the sell side liquidity, stopping around this new week opening gap. We traded higher, and then after 9:30, closing in that opening range gap, traded higher. We actually stopped at this 1 hour fair value gap right here before moving lower. And once I saw that stop, I was like, okay, we're probably gonna be moving lower. We didn't take out this high, you know, we have news in the afternoon, and I kind of based my trade around, hey, you know, I want to see more sell side liquidity taken, and we traded into this higher time frame objective of the 1 hour fair value gap. So I want to see the market move lower. Plus, once we get down to the 15-minute time frame, I'll kind of show you like an inversion fair value gap that I was looking at too. So let's drop down to the 15-minute time frame. All right. So again, we had that nice move lower, taking out that sell side liquidity. Then we kind of traded around here. This is where we opened, came down, took out that low, traded higher, taking out this buy side liquidity here, this buy side liquidity here, and then stopping dead in its tracks at that 1 hour fair value gap. We then moved lower after we hit that 1 hour fair value gap. But if you look closer, you see this 15-minute fair value gap right here. I wanted to see if if the market would respect this price, this fair value gap. And even though in the moment it didn't look like it was going to, we actually see the market closed at the consequent encroachment of that 15-minute fair value gap. So seeing that, I was like, okay, boom. This is like, we're going lower. We're going to take out this sell side liquidity here, potentially aim for these lows down here. I was like, okay, we'll go with the sell side liquidity today. And since we trade sessions, we're not aiming for like those daily range. Yes, it's good to have that higher time frame analysis, but even having like a shorter, higher time frame analysis of, hey, we traded into this 1 hour fair value gap again, closing at the consequent encroachment of this 15-minute fair value gap. I'm like, okay, we're going to go lower. So 5-minute time frame. Perfect. So I saw this 5-minute fair value gap. Keep that in mind. But also I saw, okay, we traded into this 1 hour fair value gap. We take out these buy side liquidity areas. I'll draw this out too, because when this happens, I like to do the dash, buy side liquidity. All right, we took out that buy side liquidity. But before I get into a trade for sell, I want to see some sort of break in market structure. Like, I'm always looking for the break in market structure. Are we going lower? Is this like, what are we doing? We're looking for those breaks in market structure. We actually do have the small break in market structure right here. And this is almost like scalping in a sense, because we're going off these really like short-term breaks in market structures. So we traded down and we had this right here, boom, break in market structure, this candle right here, and then we came back up into this 5-minute fair value gap. It's like, perfect, break in market structure. We're not respecting this 5-minute order block. We closed in the consequent encroachment of the 15-minute fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame. And we want to see these lows get taken out now. We want to see this sell side liquidity, these lows traded to and taken out. All right, so let's drop down to the 1 minute. Now the 1 minute's actually where I took my trade this morning. So this is essentially what I saw. And then of course, 11 o'clock hit and we had this Judas swing down. Couldn't take out these lows before moving higher, eventually into these weekly relative equal highs, which was nice to see. And you know what? It would have been a nice setup, but my rules state, hey, I only take one trade a day and I only trade from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So I couldn't even take that trade because it's not in my time frame, which is fine. Like, we can manage our positions and we can take trades in this time frame and it's all good. So my entry was actually this small 1 minute fair value gap right here. You know, looking back, the best entry would have been this 1 minute fair value gap because one, it's in confluence with that 5 minute fair value gap, and it is also, if you look at this run right here, we'll just kind of do this really quick, this kind of displacement run, it comes up above the 50% into this 5 minute fair value gap right here. So it comes up, that would have been our optimal trade entry, but I did get in on this smaller 1 minute fair value gap just because I am still learning. But I know, like, in consolidating markets, the market likes to pull back more, but when we're trending, we don't pull back as far as we would have liked. So part of me was like, I don't want to miss this trade. Part of me was like, I want to get in this run. So these were kind of the emotions. Obviously, our stop loss does protect us from, if the market was to trade into this 5 minute or 1 minute fair value gap, this 1 minute fair value gap, like, we would have been protected. But the best entry would have been this 1 minute fair value gap, which was above 50% of this displacement run and above the closing price of that opening range gap. So, you know, you live and you learn, right? So essentially, I wanted to see the market trade into this area. We got in at this small little 1 minute fair value gap. I wanted to see the market trade down, and then we had this break of market structure. I was like, nice, we're moving lower. As soon as the market broke this break of market structure, I actually moved my stop loss just above this candle right here, so that I was, you know, I was only risking 1.25 points. I mean, we had a solid run. The market did trade into 5-point profit objective, but I'm really trying to learn how to hold my trades longer, how to actually hold them for 10 points, because that's my overall goal. So I really did want to see if we could get down below these this low right here, right? I wanted to see us trade down into this low. However, we had that nice move down, had that break of market structure. We had some resistance at this new week opening gap, which is actually beautiful. And then we had that nice push down. And then ultimately the low was at the 8.5 point range. Yes, I could have taken my profits there. Yes, all the things, but I am really trying to hold on to my trades. So one, it was good that we reduced our risk. I'm happy that we did that. I'm happy that we were able to, hey, say, you know what, like, this trade's a win. Like, why don't we just reduce our risk a bit? And the market did eventually pull back without taking these lows. And then, of course, we moved higher when Powell started to speak. But I really did like this move because we took out that buy side liquidity, traded into the higher time frame objective, traded lower. Then we were respecting PD arrays. I was like looking, hey, you know what? We're respecting this 1 minute fair value gap. Like, look at how it's trading in there. No bodies are closing above it. It's like, that's really nice to see. Like, we're respecting it. I didn't take this trade because I wanted to see a break of market structure happen. I wanted to see this low broken before we took a trade. I actually had a setup ready to take the entry on this 5 minute fair value gap, but we can see we had that displacement move lower before trading higher into this 1 minute fair value gap and this 1 minute fair value gap, and then this higher time frame break of market structure on the 5 minute time frame. And ultimately we did move lower, which was awesome. I was like, nice, you know, we kind of seen the market. We're like, we don't hold trades for long, we trade sessions. So it was really cool to be like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna trade into this low, which is a key low, sure, but it's not the ultimate daily objective that I'm reaching for. And then, of course, the market did come back and hit our stop loss, which is totally fine. I'm just happy that we were able to get into a trade and it did play out, and I would have liked to say it would have played out if the circumstances had been different and we didn't have Powell speaking. Usually these lows are key to take out. And I was watching the NAS and the Dow as usual, and I noticed that the NAS had taken out its low, its respective low on the 5 minute time frame. So I was kind of like, you know, the Nas had already taken out that low. We might not even trade down to this low if we are going higher. And eventually we did go higher into our higher time frame buy side objectives, and now we are trading higher. So overall, I mean, I'm happy I was able to get into this trade. I'm gonna say, you know what, it was a win. Like, we were there. It had hit our 5-point take profit, right? If we had taken profit. So overall, we can see these trades form. We can see these setups form. Like, I have a system. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm looking for. And it's just the execution part. So I'm really grateful that I was able to execute properly, get into the trade. Maybe I did move my stop a bit early, but we still managed to go higher anyways. So I feel like it was probably the best option to move the stop and reduce risk. So what can I say? The markets have been consolidating. It is Friday now, and Powell is speaking today. He spoke today at 11, and he'll be speaking today at 2 p.m. too. So it's going to be definitely more of a trending day today. I, however, was unable to catch that trending move higher, but I'm happy to know that I could see these key levels and I could understand why the market would want to move higher. So in my books, I would say this is a win, you know? And yeah, I am excited for next week. It is December 1st. We are in a new month, so that should be fun. NFP is next week, so we're definitely going to be careful with our entries and our trades. But I'm just super excited to have been able to see this trade set up. Maybe it didn't hit the full TP, but we were close. We were close. We had the move, right? I mean, so I'm gonna leave that here for today. I'll see you all tomorrow. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I'll be posting some shorts. So I'm excited to talk with you again tomorrow. But for now, I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys. Have a good weekend.